Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the Visualist Guide. I am Alex Cook, and today we're going to talk about that thing that we all hate so very much: negative reviews and criticism. So as the title says for this video, we're going to just dive in very briefly into something that we're all going to come across, and you probably already have come across it, which is getting negative reviews and or criticism about your work. And this is something that always stings a little bit, no matter where you're at and how big you get with your creativity, because we're making art and it's something that's personal. So when people don't like it, we always tend to take it personally. But the truth is, it's something that is a fact of life and it is going to just happen. So how can we defuse the bomb and make the best out of something that is a reality? Personally, I feel like criticism is one of those things that it's an evil necessity. We just have to go with it. We have to accept that it's going to happen sometimes. And there's two types of criticism. There's constructive criticism, and then there's just negative criticism. And constructive criticism, I feel like it kind of gets dirtied up often because it's something that a lot of people look at in a negative way, when in reality, having good, serious, constructive criticism of your work really helps, because it's asking other creatives, hey, tell me what you think about this. Give me your honest opinion. Let me know what you actually think about this. And when I did my live casts the other year, that's actually something that I did. At the end of every episode, I'd have people send me their work, their photos or their video, and we would look at it live, and then I would give my constructive criticism. I'd give my input as to what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, and thought could improve. And the goal of constructive criticism is always to help the person who made it. Just give them another viewpoint, or maybe give them some tips and pointers on, hey, here's how you could have possibly done it a little bit differently, and how, maybe it would have helped. And I think that's something that, I see happen often, and a lot of people blow up on it. Now, as someone who is giving the constructive criticism, you have to be careful with it, because sometimes you just want to help people and they don't necessarily want the help. They just want to hear, do you think it's cool or not? So, when you're about to dive in and say, hey, okay, so here's my thoughts on it, and I'm just going to give you some constructive criticism, then, I would be careful with it, just in the sense that they might not necessarily be wanting it. And that's something to just keep in mind. If you posted something and you didn't ask for constructive criticism, how would you feel if a few people suddenly jumped on board and gave you that kind of criticism? It might not go over well, even when it was, intended to be very helpful. The other kind of criticism is just the straight up hate criticism, and unfortunately a lot of people hide this behind the, I'm gonna give you some constructive criticism on this, when in reality they just want to bash your work. It's something that's out there, it's something that exists, it happens, it will happen to you if it hasn't already happened, and if it has happened to you, it's gonna happen so many more times. So rather than just instantly jumping back like a snapping dog and just tear them apart, there's other ways to do it, okay? And from my experience, when you get that, yes, it stings, yes, it hurts, but try to just stop and see it from their perspective. Maybe they do have a good point. Maybe they are talking about something that, you should have done it this way, and maybe you weren't able to do it that way, or maybe the client didn't want you to do it that way, and it's just, instead of jumping back at them and trying to tear them apart, it's just as simple as saying, well, yeah, that would be a good idea too, but we didn't go that route because A, B, and C. there's so many ways to diffuse the bomb that, you know, sometimes they're trying to do it, sometimes they're not trying to be aggressive, but you know, it can come off that way, especially online. It's so easy to, you know, hear what someone's saying and take it the wrong way, and it's good to just stay professional about it, and that's the main thing. So that's just the one kind of criticism that you can get. But a harder criticism that's even harder to accept is when it's your own client. So you do a job for a client, you send them the proof, you say, hey, what do you think about this? How you feeling on it? And they come back and they're like, man, this just isn't it. We're not feeling it. We don't like this part. We don't like this section of the video. Or we don't like the way you edited this photo. I've dealt with it so many times. I've had clients, you know, try to fight tooth and nail, almost to the point of going to court. Okay, so I've dealt with this in the past. It's very rough. It's never fun. No one likes to do it. But the main key is to stay professional. If you show that you're snapping back and that you're just jumping in, you know, down their throat as much as they are with you, then they're gonna go tell other people. And, you know, unfortunately in this world, negative reviews spread like wildfire, so much more than positive reviews. So you wanna do everything you possibly can in your favor to help boost your positive reviews. And one of those things can be, if they're really talking down about your work, try to resolve it, try to fix it. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't, but the main point is always be professional. Stay at the top of your game, be in the right, you know, always try to make them feel good, always make them feel like they're at least being listened to, they're at least being, you know, their input, their criticism is being taken in. You're at least ingesting it, you're listening to it. You might not agree with it, it's just, okay, I see where you're coming from, I understand that, thank you. And you can say, listen, you know, in my case, I kind of disagree on this. This is just the way I wanted to do this project, you know, and that's perfectly fine to say if it's a project that it wasn't, you're not talking to your client. If it's your client, you obviously want to try and resolve their issue, make it the best thing that you possibly can for them. So if they're asking, hey, can you re-edit this so that the color is a little different? At least do it. Give it a try. Let them see. Even if it's wrong, show them and say, all right, here's what it looks like. And, you know, here's kind of the result, and here's why I chose not to do that. As you can see now, this shows and that shows, and it doesn't quite fit what we're looking for. But at the very least, give them a moment on the platform to just express their opinion and their ideas. And I know it's hard, I know it stings, I know it can be painful, and you might have to do a little bit of ranting, you know, in your office before you reply, but never reply, never get back to them in a heated debate in the midst of it. Always give yourself some time to cool off, listen to their advice or their opinion, and, you know, just get back to them in the most professional way you can. And people later on are gonna see that. Even if they disagreed with you and they didn't like what you did, they're gonna say, you know what? I got pissed off at them, and you know what, they didn't blow up at me. They were at least listening, and they considered it, and they're the professional, and you know what, I guess they know what they're talking about. And that way you haven't burned bridges, you haven't, you know, just like in the other video we were talking about, you don't want to burn bridges. Same thing here with criticism from outsiders and from your clients. You never want to burn bridges. You always want to be positive. You always want to keep a good relationship with them, because that might end up being more work down the road, either from them or from others that they talk to. All right, so hopefully that kind of helps you guys, because I know you're all going through it. We all go through it either now or in the future, and it's just one of those things to kind of keep in the back of your head, so that when it does happen, you're kind of prepared to take the professional, mature side of it and just attack it in the best way possible, and that way it ends up working out for everybody. All right, guys, hopefully that helped. Feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. You can follow me on Instagram at AlexCookCreative. You can also follow my creative studio on Instagram at SXE Media. And don't forget, you can always check us out on Facebook as well. So thank you so much, guys. Catch you on the next one.